Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrusham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, we welcome each and every single viewer joining us live today to this webinar of the Symphony of the Universe. In today's webinar, very important thing all of you are going to be understanding it in your life about sound. You know, like sound is like literally a part of our daily thing, right? Like we hear so many different kinds of sounds every day. But actually, there is a profound science and spirituality behind this sound. I am Nithyananda and joining with me today is Nithyananda. Today, together, we are going to be exploring sound. It's not just what we hear, but it's the very fabric out of which the whole existence manifested today. In today's webinar, all of you will be understanding detailing about exactly what is sound. What we know, sound is just something which goes into our ears, which makes some kind of noise. That is sound. Or if this melodious, right? If the sound is melodious to our ears, becomes music. But we'll be understanding detailing what exactly is sound. What is modern science going to say about sound? What Hinduism says about sound? What are the spiritual truths, the ancient wisdom behind sound? And also the healing power of sound, how sound actually affects our very physiology, the different types of sounds we listen to in day-to-day life, how it affects our very physiology itself. And at the end of it, you are going to be guided to a very powerful meditation technique to literally experience it in your life. So stay tuned if you want to experience this meditation experience. So the fundamental question to start with, what is sound? You know, it's like it's a basic question. To understand the full thing about this today's webinar, you need to fundamentally ask yourself, what is sound? So I request all the viewers who's watching us, you can also post in the comment section what you exactly understand as sound. So let me actually begin with what actually is sound. So actually modern science explains sounds that from the perspective, if you see from the perspective of modern physics, what today they say as sound, it is actually a mechanical wave, a vibration that propagates through a medium such as air, water or solid matter. And when an object vibrates, it creates pressure waves. It creates pressure waves that travel through the medium, and these waves reach our eardrums, causing them to vibrate. And our brain interprets these vibrations as sound. And usually sound, what we hear, is measured in three ways. One is the frequency, what we know as hertz, like from the human hearing zone is like 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Then we also calculate with the amplitude, the intensity of the loudness, and also the wavelength, the distance between the wave peaks. But how does sound actually interconnects us? How are all of us interconnected with sound? Is because we need to understand how sound is far more than just what we know, what physics knows today. Every cell in our body vibrates at specific frequencies, like whether it's our heart, our lungs, our brain, everything creates their own vibrational patterns. And when external sound waves enter our body, whether it is when somebody speaks or when you hear some music, when it enters our body, they interact with our cellular vibrations through different ways. And actually even research published in the Journal of Healthcare Engineering in 2021, it shows that sound vibrations can affect heart rate variability and also the brainwaves patterns. It was actually measured with the EEG machine. And then it also affects the cellular metabolism, the hormonal secretion, and also the nervous system regulation. So basically, knowing all of this, you can understand that we are
quite literally vibrational beings living in a vibrational universe.
Now, this is what modern science has to say about sound, but there's something more to it. Let's now understand what Hinduism has to say about sound. Our ancient rishis have already spoken elaborately about this science like thousands of years ago in their ancient scriptures, right? So, what exactly is sound? In Hinduism, sound is the principle which is Nada Tattva. In Hinduism, the universe is not made up of matter, but the whole universe is nothing but the combinations of sounds and light. It is made up of sound, of vibration. Thus is the principle of Nada Tattva. Very beautifully, we have a reference for all of you. The Shatapada Brahmana declares the Shabda Brahma Param Brahma. Sound is Brahman, the supreme reality is sound. So literally this shows that how, even before creation, before matter, before anything in this universe, what actually made this whole existence is sound. There was vibration. And the whole entire cosmos is vibrated with this sound, the Nada Brahma. Actually, even to understand more detailedly, when Swamiji was explaining, the Supreme Founder of Hinduism was explaining about the Navatattvas, the 9 manifestations of Paramashiva. In that, one of the aspect is Dvanikaletu Nadatma, meaning in that sound, he is Nadatma. Dvani is like sound, right? But as the manifestation of sound, he is that Nadatma, that pure cosmic sound. So understand, Nada Tattva is not just what about you hear with your ears. It is about the cosmic vibration which creates, sustains, rejuvenates everything in this existence. When you connect with that Nadatma, meaning with that ultimate sound, with the cosmic sound from which everything is manifest, you connect literally with the very source of creation.
Now that was a beautiful explanation about the Nada Tattva, the science of sound as per Hinduism. But how exactly is this universe woven through sound and light? How is the universe created? Actually, there is a beautiful reference even in the Maheshwara Sutras, and according to the Shaiva traditions as well, the universe began with the sound of Paramashiva's Damaru. When Paramashiva did the Ananda Tandava, and after that he played his Damaru. Actually, we all think that the world began with the Big Bang. No. The Big Bang may have happened, but the universe, the language, after the Ananda Tandava, when Paramashiva played his Damaru, the 14 sounds, he sounded his Damaru, the cosmic drum, 14 times. And from these divine vibrations emerged the Maheshwara Sutras, which laid the foundation for the Sanskrit language, from which all the languages that we all know today came from.
And these 14 sounds which Paramashiva struck from his Damaru these are called the Maheshwara Sutras. So it goes A, I, U, N, R, L, K, A, Aung, I, Ouch, Haya, Varat, Lan, Nyama, Nana, Nama, Jabhang, Gadha, Dasha, Jaba, Gada, Dasha, Kapha, Cha, Tha, Thava, Kapai, Sasha, Sara, Hal. These are the sounds. These are the 14 sounds which became the building blocks of Sanskrit. And from Sanskrit emerged all the languages which we have today. So the entire phenomenal universe is made up of combination of these primal vibrations. And apart from that, to understand more deeper, the whole cosmos vibrates with this one sound, Om. Om is the primordial sound. Very beautifully in the Mandukya Upanishad, it says, Om ityedat aksharam idam sarvam tasyopya vyakyanam bhutam bhavat bhavishyat iti sarva onkara eva. It means that the whole universe, Om, this syllable is all this. The very explanation of the sutra is all that is past, present and future is Om. And whatever transcends the 3 times, that too is Om. So understand, Om is not just a word. It's the sound of existence itself. It is the vibration in which the whole cosmos, the whole existence vibrates. Within it contains all the sounds, all vibrations and everything as the creation.
And I actually remember that even very recently, NASA also published research on how the sound of Om reverberates in the universe. So actually, just a few years ago, between 2021 and 2023, NASA gave a research that how in the universe the sound of Om was heard.
So actually, it's very true. Beautifully, there was a research study conducted by NASA on the cosmic sound Om. So in August 2022, NASA released an extraordinary discovery using the Chandra X-ray Observatory, where they found out that the black hole, there was some sound waves emanating from the black hole, which is at the center of the Perseus galaxy cluster, which is like 250 million light years away from Earth. Such far, that much light years away. When NASA scientists converted these cosmic vibrations into audible frequencies, the hearing aid, we need to understand that the hearing, all of us can hear from 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz. Beyond these, we can't hear. Even the sound is being produced. Like for example, when ants are communicating with each other, we can't hear, but they make a sound. It's just that it's not in our frequency. So when NASA translated those sounds, what they got from a black hole, into audible frequencies, many of the listeners reported that they hear something similar to the chant of Om. The misconception that there's no sound So actually, after they discovered this, then they found out that actually there's even during the black hole, there is sound which is being produced, which is the Om sound. So this discovery validates that what Hinduism has spoken, what Hinduism declares as the Nada Brahma, where the whole universe is fundamentally made up of sound vibrations.
And actually, NASA even created sonifications, like the data converted to sound from the various cosmic phenomena, and so they actually made the sound of pulsars, the black hole vibrations, solar oscillations, and electromagnetic radiation patterns. All of this, they were able to create sonifications, and all of these revealed that cosmos is a symphony, constantly vibrating, constantly creating through sound. Now let's actually dive more deeper into how sound impacts our life, how these different sounds impact our life. So as we were discussing about Om, let's start with that. How the sound Om actually, when it's chanted correctly, creates a profound physiological and psychological effects. And actually many scientific researchers also say that it stimulates the vagus nerve. The vibration of the Om activates the vagus nerve, which regulates the parasympathetic nervous system, and also EEG studies show increased alpha and theta waves, and
indicating deep relaxation happening within the system.
And it's actually also reduces the stress hormones, because the cortisol levels, they decrease significantly, and also the cardiovascular health improves because of the nitric oxide production. So the study was published in the International Journal of Yoga in 2011, and they found that Om chanting creates significant deactivation in the limbic system,
which leads to profound calm and centeredness, bringing lots of awareness within your system. This is just about the Om, actually. This is just about the sound of Om.
But if we get into the music that we listen to today, whether it is the Carnatic and Hindustani music which we listen to in the eastern side, or even the modern music that we listen to in the west, all of these have an effect on our system. Actually, if you see the Carnatic and Hindustani music, we have a concept called ragas. Like there are 72 Melakarta ragas, or you can call them the parent ragas. These ragas, each, and from these many more, like 5,000 plus ragas have emerged as the child ragas, and each of them have their own uniqueness, giving out their own rasas, like their own specific emotions. They evoke specific emotions in you. They have their own therapeutic properties, and sometimes they are performed at specific times in the day, and they use particular note combinations. So I'll just give maybe a few examples for each of you. Like for example, if you take the raga Bhairavi in Hindustani or the Sindhu Bhairavi raga in Carnatic music, it can be sung at any time in the day, but usually early morning also it is sung. When you just listen to this or when you sing it, it reduces anxiety, promotes emotional release, and also helps with depression. And it creates a mood of tranquility and introspection. This raga, when you just listen to it, it touches the heart center and awakens gentle, loving emotions. That's how, just by listening to it, it actually impacts your physiology and psychology. Same way, if you take raga Yaman in Hindustani or the Kalyani raga in Carnatic, it evokes joy, serenity, romance, and even spiritual happiness, and it's usually sung at the early morning times. Immediately you will feel that upliftment and expansive feeling. It just opens you up and reduces any anxiety or fear that you're having in you. And if you take another example like raga Bhairav in Hindustani or Mayamala Gaula in Carnatic, this evokes like solemn peace, and it also has like some seriousness and a devotional gravity in it. Like if you're a video editor, or like if you are a musician, you know that at some points of times you want different kinds of music. So you choose different kinds of music to give out that emotion. That what comes out in your video editing, like for a specific scene you want a specific kind of music, that same thing happens in your inner space when you listen to some kind of music. So just this raga Bhairav or Mayamala Gaula in Carnatic, it has a little bit serious note but evokes a devotional gravity also in you, and sung usually early morning. And when you hear it, it sounds very majestic and evokes the feeling of standing before the divine themselves, and it creates that feeling immediately in you of reverence and inner strength. So this is how one part of music impacts you. But at the same time, if we see in comparison to this the Western music, which many people listen to today, like the pop, jazz, metal, electronic musics, these operate usually on fixed rhythmic patterns or limited tonal variations, and they're actually mainly these days entertainment focused. And this many times, like, it can be enjoyable at some points, but at the same time very often it stimulates only surface level emotions, and it can also sometimes increase the agitation, especially like heavy metal music and like aggressive genres. It can create that agitation in you, and it lacks the therapeutic precision which are there in other sounds. And actually a research from the Frontiers in Psychology in 2015, studying the emotional responses to Hindustani music, they actually showed how people respond psychologically to that music. So this actually shows how sounds have an impact on your psychology and physiology. And Swamiji also reminds us, this is not only just music but mantras also. Swamiji actually reminds us how mantras are not just mere sounds, but they are cosmic software codes that reprogram your biomemory and muscle memory. So when you chant the mantras with the right understanding and intensity, you are literally rewriting your entire inner space, your inner self.
Actually, to add on to this point, I remember Swamiji said in one satsang, very beautifully Swamiji revealed that if you see your whole biology, right, your whole physiology is stitched with sounds. You know, like all the, let's say all the patterns, all the incompletions, you know, all the suffering you have, like greed, fear, worry, anxiety, everything you're having, it's nothing but we are stitching ourselves with various sounds, you know. And for us to complete, for you to experience the ultimate completion happening in you, literally you need to remove all those sounds and infuse your system with the powerful sounds such as the Om or the Sodashi, the Mahavakya. So understand, mantras what we chant, it is literally like a software code within yourself where literally you can reprogram your whole system. Your whole biology can be reprogrammed, can be reawakened. And just by chanting these mantras, literally you awaken a new dimension within yourself. You awaken, like you have the ability to access the various different dimensions of the cosmos as you literally raise your very frequency itself.
And that's actually, that even reminds me of Swamiji in one satsang. Swamiji had shared about Swamiji's own guru, Raghupati Yogi, where just through making few sounds, in half an hour, he would just make few sounds, and from like the flower of the mango tree would bloom, then it would dry, the petals will fall and the fruit will grow in just half an hour, which you cannot usually see normally happening, but just by making some sounds that will happen. So that's how that's how powerful sound has.
These are the various possibilities of sound. If you master sound, like if you become the controller of it, if you master sound, what are all the ways, different possibilities which we can manifest, we can easily understand from Swamiji's guru, Raghupati Yogi, how he mastered sound. Like literally, like Swamiji will sit in one place with him, like far away, but just making one sound, literally like 50 dogs will come around him. And of course, like to do the work which Raghupati Yogi wants to give to them. And like there's so many different things, even like one boulder in the Arunachala hill, like a huge boulder rock. Like Raghupati Yogi made like a sound, almost like as if like cutting the whole stone into two, like how so smoothly you pass the knife through the butter, right? For the to apply the to pass through the butter, exactly like that, like as that sound literally went through the rock so smoothly, and the whole rock was like just became into two pieces. One boulder, big boulder, became into two pieces.
So actually now we'll dive more deeper into this scientific research, how like in modern day science is actually understanding how sound impacts our psychology and physiology, what our Hindu ancestors at the ancient seers had already foreseen and had told and given us the profound science of mantras, chanting and music, all of this. Now science is coming to that and seeing how sound affects how sound affects us. And this actually, even like these days we have things like music mantra, sound bath and all of that, where we use sound for healing and many different things. But one component that's missing from this is the initiation of the guru. Because when the guru initiates you into a specific mantra, into a specific chant, into a specific sound, they actually reprogram your entire system with that. And actually, to give all of you a glimpse of that experience, towards the end of the webinar, we'll be leading all of you through a guided meditation, as well as we'll be providing all of you with another guided process which is directly conducted by Swamiji a few years ago. So stay tuned and let's just go through the different, what science is now finding out today on the power of sound.
So very beautifully, recently there was research which has been conducted on people who chant mantras, people who chant the Sanskrit mantras every single day, what exactly happens in our brain. This is to understand deeper, like what exactly happens when you listen to mantras, when you chant mantras, what exactly happens within your brain, versus what exactly happens when you listen to other types of music? So basically, like when so they usually they took the using the help of the MRI, they very beautifully they have understand that when a person is chanting Sanskrit, when he is chanting the Sanskrit mantras, significantly larger brain regions associated with cognitive function, memory, memory such as the hippocampus became more bigger, the language processing and the spatial reasoning, all these four areas, these four regions of the brain became more larger action, we became more active compared to what we have, what the amount we use in our day-to-day life. This shows that why Sanskrit is so special actually. Like when you chant Sanskrit mantras, what exactly happens when you see Sanskrit is a phonetically perfect language. It is not based on the alphabets, no. It's phonetically made. Every letter produces specific vibrations. For example, let's say we k, k, b, bh. There's different variation. Each and every single letter. For example, even na which you produce from your like keeping the tongue at the upper palate is different, and keeping the tongue at the base of your teeth, that's also different.
Actually, if you just see the Sanskrit letters like that, ka, kha, ga, gha, na, cha, cha, ja, ja, na, if you just see those letters from the back of the throat, it comes one by one, like from the back of the throat to the upper palate, to then the lips. Each part, the tongue touches different parts of the palate, creating specific resonance patterns in the skull, which activate particular brain regions.
And when the mantras have been chanted, they release positive vibrations into the environment. They create coherent energy fields. They harmonize the electromagnetic field of the chanter, and also the listener who is listening to the Sanskrit mantra also experiences the same thing, and also the space around them gets purified. So like to take one of the examples, like temples, right? If you go to temples, continuously be hearing the Sanskrit mantras, a person who is depressed or in a low mood or anything, as soon as they enter the temple, they immediately feel a healing energy, or they'll feel happy. Immediately the mood changes. Why? Because of chanting, because of the Sanskrit mantras. When we chant these Sanskrit mantras, a lot of positive things starts manifesting, not just within ourselves. Understand? Not just the chanter who is chanting the Sanskrit mantras, not just the listener who is listening to the chanting. The whole environment vibrates with that cosmic frequency, vibrates with the positive energy, which releases lots of positive energy to the whole world.
And this actually reminds me of another study that was conducted by Dr. Masaru Emoto. He actually conducted research on water. So he's actually a Japanese researcher, and he conducted a groundbreaking experiment showing how human consciousness, thoughts, words and sounds, can actually affect the molecular structure of water. So what he did was, he exposed water to different stimuli. Like one set of water he exposed to positive words like love, gratitude, peace, and then he exposed some to negative words like hate, anger, fear, and to some he also played like the classical music and heavy metal music, and also he played prayers and mantras. Once this was done for a few days, he next froze those water samples, and then he photographed the ice crystals under microscopes. And the astonishing result of this experiment was the water under positive stimuli, which had loving words, prayers, classical music, this water created beautiful, symmetrical, snowflake-like crystals, which were perfect hexagonal structures and intricate geometrical patterns. On the contrary, The water which had the negative stimuli, which had the harsh words, then the heavy metal, the negativity around it, it created chaotic, distorted, fragmented patterns which had no symmetry at all. It was asymmetrical structures, and it looked completely broken and incomplete formations. So from this study you can actually see how, because the human body is 70% water, approximately 70% water, and our cells are like completely surrounded by water. So the words that we speak actually affect the internal water, what it affects our being. So the sounds we listen to, it literally reshapes our cellular structure, and the thoughts we think also, not just the words, but the thoughts we think also literally change our biology. And the mantras, the prayers that we do, create coherent cellular structures. And actually for this, even a double-blind study on Dr. Emoto's hypothesis by Dean Radin in 2006, it published in Explore Journal, it showed statistically the significant effects of intention on water, like the crystal formation, that and this actually lended scientific credibility to this concept as well. And Dr. Emoto actually he quotes that water is a mirror of the mind. So if you show love and gratitude to water, it responds by creating beauty, and if you project hatred and fear, it creates chaos.
Actually, to add this out of our experience also, to what Mahamantra was sharing about it, how sound affects the water. Actually, the sounds which we create within ourselves, like the sounds which we give also, it actually impacts the whole environment. Like in Gurukul, Swamiji gives us this very beautiful meditation called the talking to a rose plant. So rose plant has thorns, right, to protect itself. So what we do is to drop the violence, to drop the inner violence within ourselves. The Balasans in the Nithyananda Gurukul are being asked to speak to a rose plant. Like we say like words such as like we love you, we care for you. Sometimes we chant the mantras also to it, to give like assurance, to give protection for the plant to drop its thorns. So actually, like in all the plants in Gurukul, right? First, all of them have big thorns, different sizes of thorns. As we were doing this meditation, sometimes like some kids will talk to the rose plants, some kids will be chanting over there, like they'll be attending to the plant. Like this, within a month, literally most of the rose plants dropped its thorn. How? Like usually if you remove the thorn from a rose plant, the mark will be there on the branch, but there was no mark at all. The thorns are not there, and even the new branches which is growing from the rose plant also did not have thorns as well. So how did this happen? It is because of the kind of sounds, the inner space. See, when we use positive words within ourselves, and when we say positive words to outside of us, when we say it out loud, immediately nature, environment responds to us. That is why as we continuously say in Gurukul, we radiate ourselves with a high frequency, right? Either with the chanting of the mantras, the kind of ecosystem that Swamiji has provided for each and every of the kid. Literally, that manifested outside at the plant, where it manifested it dropping its own thorns. Just like how what Dr. Masur Emoto did in his experiment, when he's saying certain words, how the water crystals formed. Same way, the kind of words you cherish within yourself and what you say it out matters a lot, as everything in your life responds to this.
And actually that also reminds me how in one narrative review published in Healthcare Journal in 2021, it mapped the mechanisms of sound vibrations, how it affects the human body in multiple systems of the human body. Like for example, the nervous system, it activates the parasympathetic response, like it helps in the rest and the digestion, and then it reduces the sympathetic activation. It also balances the autonomic nervous system, and In the cardiovascular system, it lowers blood pressure, regulates heart rate variability, and also improves the blood circulation overall. And like another example, in the immune system or the endocrine system as well, it reduces cortisol, it increases oxytocin, balances hormonal secretion, enhances natural killer cell activities, improves lymphocyte functions, and even strengthens the immune response. So overall, through in multiple systems, like even in the brain and the cognition, it increases the alpha and theta brain waves. Then it also enhances the neuroplasticity, the ability to like actually reprogram and understand more things. It improves the memory and the focus that you have. Like if you're a student at school or even if you're at work, it increases the focus that you have.
And one more deeper thing to understand, that when you chant Sanskrit, right, one thing happens, that this awakens the various non-mechanical parts of our brain. This is something we need to understand, that see, your brain has two parts, right? The one part where it uses for your everyday survival, like for example, the way you brush your teeth, the way you eat, the way you walk, the way you wear your clothes, the way you respond to people, everything you do in your day-to-day life, right? All this being programmed in one part, which is the mechanical part of your brain. Now, in your non-mechanical parts of your brain, this has all the various different possibilities of human being can manifest, such as like power manifestation, such as the powers of reading, teleportation, or like high memory, right? All this is there in the non-mechanical parts of your brain. Now, in our day-to-day life, we actually only use this one part of our brain, which is the mechanical part of your brain. When we chant the Sanskrit mantras, right? When we chant these mantras, right, especially the Sanskrit mantras, as each syllable is a different letter, it produces different letter, which activates the non-mechanical parts of your brain. So like for example, if you do like half an hour chanting and then after you go for your studies, you'll observe that you'll be able to grasp more concepts after that. Or like actually this, like I can say out of my own experience also, like right before like preparing for exams, any of the Gurukul kids will do this. They have like at least like half an hour of chanting, and after when they go for class, they'll be so sharp. Like any concept which is being taught to the kid, right, they will be immediately able to grasp it, and the whole knowledge will be transferred to them.
And actually so as Mahamantra was sharing, 10%, actually by 10% the hippocampus, the memory center of your brain increases. And actually what we are also saying as the non-mechanical parts of the brain is what is also referred to as the junk DNA. It's actually emerging in the research in epigenetics. It actually suggests that the sound vibrations, especially the Sanskrit mantras, it awakens portions of the DNA previously considered junk, potentially unlocking latent human capabilities, and that is the power manifestation science that Swamiji is awakening in all of us. So that is why when we see the mantras are not just superstitions, but they're actually technologies of consciousness designed by enlightened beings who have had that experience. For us, they have shared it with us, so we can have that same experience.
So now we have learnt about like sound, what exactly is sound, what modern says about sound, what Hinduism has to say on sound, and like how sound is the very fabric of existence itself, how the whole universe nothing manifested from sound, and how sound impacts in our life. Various different scientific research we went through to understand the types of sound when you listen to, what exactly happens to your system, and how Sanskrit, right, mantras are the best sounds to listen to, and how it impacts the positiveness within our very physiology and also the environment. So to actually have this as an experience, For all of you, for all the viewers joining with us today, we have a very beautiful guided meditation for you, where you are going to be experientially getting the experience of the how sound impacts the very physiology itself. So I know right after this webinar, like all of you will understand, God, sound has so much of science actually, and the type of sound we listen to matters a lot. As it, like for example, like as we went to, right, when we listen to other sounds, for example, when you listen to depressing sound, immediately within yourself you feel so depressing. When you listen to a happy sound, you literally feel the happiness within you. But when you listen to Sanskrit sound, you literally remain, you will literally retain in that positive space itself, as that's the power of Sanskrit. So we will now be guiding each and every one of you through a very powerful guided meditation, which is the Mahamantra meditation. This is actually a very beautiful technique given by the Supreme Point of Hinduism. This meditation technique, just for practicing it, it awakens the Anahata chakra, which is the heart center, and it connects you with the cosmic vibration of sound.
This is actually a meditation from the Tibetan Buddhist techniques, which is revived and also shared with each and every one of us by Swamiji. So before we get started, can I request each of you, all the viewers, to maybe you can get a soft mat, so you can put it on the ground and you can sit on the ground if you're comfortable. If you're not, you can also sit on the chair. And just a small disclaimer here, if any of you are having any medical conditions here, or if you're pregnant, please do not do the meditation. Please take your doctor's guidance before you do the meditation. And for everyone else, please make sure you are comfortable. If you cannot sit on the ground, you can also sit comfortably on a chair. But if you can sit on the ground, you can place a mat on the ground and sit on the ground. And we'll be getting started in just a few minutes. Yes, so I hope each and every one of you have settled. Now we'll be starting with the Mahamantra meditation. Can I request each of you to please sit straight? Sit straight. Close your eyes.
Relax your whole system completely.
And sit in the Vajrasana. Sit on your knees in the Vajrasana position. This is directly working on the Anahata chakra, the heart center. So center yourself into the being. just close your eyes. Shut all the visualization or like the things that you are seeing inside. See, whenever you close your eyes, you always see that the eyeballs will slowly be moving, little bit movements will be there of the eyeballs. Don't do that. Just give pressure from inside so that even the eyeball movement stops. Feel and literally visualize as if both the eyeballs have become like a stone. Just sit. Close your eyes. Now, we will be starting to hum the Mahamantra. Is from the navel center. Just start just continue to do this. Make sure your mouth is not open. It is from the nose. Make sure the mouth is not open. Sit straight. Close your eyes. And continue to chant. And just hum the We'll do this for a few minutes. Intensely continue to hum from the navel center. Open your eyes. Breathe in and breathe out deeply. Slowly relax. This was just a small glimpse. Actually, the Mahamantra meditation is much more elaborate. But this is just a small glimpse for a few minutes of how, just see, you were just humming, you were making that sound from the navel center, but how it actually immediately when you start brings deep, like it drops all that restlessness happening in you and bring a sense of calmness in you. That is the impact of sound on your physiology and your psychology. Actually, before we come to the conclusion of today's program, today's webinar, in the last few days, especially from Navratri till now, and I'm sure even for the next few days, actually now the Skanda Shashti Brahmotsavam, the 6 days where we celebrate Lord Muruga, Bhagavan Subramanya, it's happening, and every day morning Swamiji is coming and giving us every day morning EST and every day 7 p.m. night IST. Swamiji is coming and giving us deeper truths into how we can manifest our ultimate self. And actually in Navratri, Swamiji began with sharing with each and every one of us the truths of how the negative self-talk impacts the reality we cause for ourselves. Like when you actually, right now we all saw how sound impacts our psychology and physiology, but the negative self-talk which you collect from different places from the time you're young till now for so many years, all the different ideas that you collect, you either hear or like somebody is speaking to you, you collect from different places in society, that becomes a part of you and becomes your negative self-talk, which impacts how you consciously create your life. Like Swamiji calls it, you can actually consciously create your life's framework just through how you talk to yourself, like whether it's negative self-talk or positive self-talk, everything. And if you want to know this, actually just this science is a huge vast truth that Swamiji is teaching all of us in the last few days. So we invite each and every one of you to join for the satsangs every day, for the live satsangs happening every day. And even if you have not watched the satsangs, especially from the time Navratri began, go back, watch those satsangs, because Swamiji elaborately explains how you can consciously create your life's framework just by dropping the negative self-talk, on just how you stop the sound within yourself as well. So we encourage each and every one of you to attend the live satsangs, and in the description below we also have something that each of you can refer to.
Actually, it's a gift for all the viewers and all watching us from across from different places. Swamiji, as today all of us were learning about sound, right? How sound, what exactly is sound, a deeper truth of sound, how sound actually impacts our physiology. As a gift for all of you, we have a very beautiful meditation conducted by Swamiji himself, where actually you just need to listen to the sound which Swamiji is making. So how, like, this meditation technique is nothing but Swamiji will be playing sound, Swamiji will be playing the drums and basically making some sound which releasing some energy. At the end of the video, literally you will feel as if you've done like a intense workout in your life. That's how literally your muscles will feel. So I request all of you to take few minutes, go to the description, take the link, and whenever you have some time, do take some time and follow this meditation technique, so you can actually experience that, how you'll understand more deeper how the sound which you listen to, the sound which you listen continuously, and like the kind of talking you say within yourself and the talks you say to others actually impacts our life so much.
And So don't forget to go to the description box and click on the link and watch that process. And with that, we thank each and every one of you for joining us today for this webinar, and we hope all of you have had a small glimpse of how sound actually impacts your system, and you start becoming aware of the sounds you hear around you, and you can educate others as well around you. So with that, we would like to now conclude this webinar with the Purna Mantra and offer our gratitude at Swamiji's lotus feet.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam.